Hello, I'm going to do this flip through of this Stillman Birn Zeta series. It's kind of like cardstock. It's very thick and it really, I guess you would call it thirsty. It takes paint very well and I really like it. I really like the Stillman Birn Zeta books, but I won't go this small next time because I did have some problems with the binding. There's like glue. One of the reasons I like Stillman Birn is that the pages usually lay flat. And, oh, look, this one's upside down. But it just didn't. Can you see how it's kind of bumpy? So, I wasn't, next time I'll go up in size, and I like their larger ones. I have no idea what size this is called, but it's about 3 by 5. Sorry, I'm going to pause a lot to clear my throat because it's spring here and allergy season. So the only thing I don't like is I don't like rounded corners. I'm not sure why. It might be because I'm a graphic artist and I come from magazines and newspapers, and rounded corners feel fussy and unnecessary to me. Or it's a design that I want to be the one to decide when the corners are rounded. So that's such a tiny thing. So the Stillman Birn is the name of the company, and the Zeta is the name of the, I guess, the paper that would be in the book. So it's flat cardstock, and it takes paint and it takes drawing, which is really good for me because I can do urban sketching, which is painting and drawing, or I can do mixed media, which is painting and drawing, and maybe gluing, which I didn't do gluing in here, you know, bringing in ephemera. So that's what this book is. At any time, I have probably 10 books going at a time, and it depends on the size of the book, the type of paper, and the binding. So those are the three things that I consider. You know, I might want a spiral binding so I can flip the page over. I might want this kind of binding, which is supposed to lay flat. And then I like the more bumpy, toothy paper. I'm spacing out what it's called. Cold press. Cold press paper is more for watercolor, and it has the little like texture in it so that when you paint, the paint falls into the little grooves that are on the paper, the tooth, and it will add sort of more, it makes the paint look sort of less flat. So anyway, so probably more information than you needed to know. And if I hadn't talked so much at the beginning of this video, I could have been done by now, but anyway, I realized when I was starting to flip through this that I've missed the front page, so I guess that's what I need to do now. After I finish this video, I'll do the front page. In preparation for our trip to Japan, I thought I was going to be doing all kinds of urban sketching in Japan, and we ended up doing zero. Which I really should learn that when I'm traveling with my son, that he doesn't want to sit and watch me paint. But anyway, before we left, I went to Unsplash, which is copyright-free images, and I found this image of Tokyo, it's a street in Tokyo, and I thought, well, this is what my whole life is going to be like. For the next couple of weeks, I better practice, and then it ended up being like the only thing I did. And right now it's May of 2025, and I painted this, or drew it, or painted, I don't know what you say, in March of 23, so that was a little over 2 years ago. So this book is 2 years of smaller mixed media sketches and drawings or paintings or whatever. Watercolor and colored pencil. This is, most of these are from photos. This is from a photo that I took in Glenwood. Oh no, it's not. I went and found a photo of Glenwood on Unsplash. Good for me for writing notes. Because this is supposed to be water. That's one of the things I'm working on, is learning how to do water. I think in 2 years I've improved a little bit. This is from a photo that I took in Japan, but I painted this once I got home. One of my travel things is to find reflections and take a selfie. So any of my travel photo albums has photos of me taking a photo, and the people who travel with me have learned to deal with it. This was in a store of some kind. This is from a photo that I took. See how I don't know if you can see. So this might have just been one bad sketchbook and the rest are fine. The way that I got this nice clean edge is with washi tape, which I think it looks really nice and clean, but sometimes I can't be bothered, and you can see some of them have it and some of them don't. This is the water that, the marina near my mom's house in Washington. I pictured this much differently than it ended up because I'm still learning how to do watercolor, and I tend to be sort of heavy-handed. But thank God for the black pen, because then I could go in and add the details and make this more of a drawing that has coloring rather than trying to do a painting. And I think my style is evolving, where I'm starting to learn that it's okay to paint and draw and paint and draw. So it's a learning process. This is from a photo I took. It's hard to tell in Kyoto who are the tourists dressed as geisha girls and who are the true geisha girls, because you can go there and you can buy an experience and dress as a geisha girl for the day. I don't know if I'm saying geisha correctly, geisha. So what's funny is it's totally touristy. Everyone's running around with cameras, and then there's these geisha girls, and then everybody taking photos of the geisha girls, like following them around, kind of like I was. I took a photo so that I could paint it later, which I did do, because obviously I didn't paint it there. This is doodling at the airport. You know what, I might have painted these in the hotel. The right hand page. I have no idea. I don't know. I actually don't remember what any of this is. But I wrote doodles at Narita Airport. So somehow, I guess I could look up the dates. Does it matter? Sometimes what I do is I paint on the right hand page, and I get down to a certain point, and then I come back, and then the left hand page is blank, and I'll fill that in. So that's why it's ends up being a little out of order. I don't need this to be in order, but I am trying to do a flip through, and then what I'm saying doesn't end up making any sense. This is their weird little, I guess it was like their luggage thing, or their, what do you call it? The thing that puts the luggage ramp thing up into the, anyway, I just thought it was kind of cool because it looked different. You go to another country and their normal things look so different from our normal things that you're like, wow, I'm in a foreign country. This is a beach, I think, at Point Roberts, near where my mom lives. This is, I have no idea, but it's probably from my own photo. Just trying to work on knowing, being able to, which I didn't do well, being able to dissolve some of the details and let them be blurry. Like, I feel this, like I'm supposed to add all the details. The way that when you're a photographer, you're trying to develop so that you can see the details in the shadows and the details in the light. I keep having some kind of little head police come in and say, you can't just blur some detail, you have to show the detail. And so it's really, it's frustrating for me, because I know what I want it to look like in the end, and then I end up painting it and I'm like, wait, that isn't anything like what I planned. So, and this was playing around with some gold paint that I got from, I think, Beam Paints. Not gold, metallic and opalescent. Oops, sorry. And I don't know why I wrote on the page, because it doesn't make any sense why I would write that. But I want to be the kind of person that writes on my pages, but I can't figure out what to write. When it comes down to it, I'm done. I've described the thing and I don't need to write. However, so I'm going to say this. Let's see if I can say it without clearing my throat and coughing, sneezing. So right now I'm working on how to deal with those intrusive voices that come in and say, you'll never be able to do that, that didn't work, and you probably should give this up, or whatever, all the voices. Why did you do that? That's too dark, and you're probably better, whatever. You should have tried something else. You should just give up and go back to this other thing. And like, there's just this constant stream of blah, blah, blah going on. Self-doubt, I guess. So one of the exercises for that is basically to allow it to chatter on in my head, but give it less importance. And then one of the ways to do that is to be more in the now, rather than thinking about like, what are people going to think, and what, comparing it to my past or looking ahead into worrying about the future, to try to be more in the present. And when you're doing urban sketching or painting, you are in a location and you're trying to do something. And so right now I'm saying this in May of 2025, I'm going to start writing on my pages what the current scene is. I can say, drawing at the Fort Collins Mall, it's sunny, I felt rushed today. And so I'm trying to figure out how to add this. I could also just have it be a journal entry on another page, but I think it might help me quiet the voice, and it will also help me start to add writing onto my pages, maybe. I don't know. So we'll see. This is the something house at the, where were we? Denver Botanic Gardens, and there's actually a Chihuly sculpture, a glass sculpture right here, but I was more interested in the trees behind the building. This I did enjoy, and I still surprise myself when I look at it. I went to an open space area near my house, and I thought ahead what I wanted it to look like. I wasn't rushed. I was quite comfortable. It all turned out the way I wanted it to. Gosh, I'm just clearing my throat a lot. So it was almost exactly 2 years ago, and I love how the trees come in this super bright chartreuse color, and that's what I wanted to capture. These are sage, or no, they're it's called rabbit brush. It looks like sage, and then there's yellow flowers that are almost like yarrow looking on the tops. So I'm not sure I really captured it so that you would recognize it unless you lived here. And then you'd be like, oh, those must be rabbit brush. And then this was just stamps that I created on top of a test page. And then this is not here for privacy, but because there must be something kind of grody. Oh yeah, it's like pastels of some kind. So this was a park with an old cabin on it, and I didn't do it on location. I did it later at home. So self-portraits are interesting because you go back and forth between I'm trying out a style and does it look like me? In this case, it does not look like me. I mean, you can tell that it is me. Clear my throat again. You can tell it is me, but it doesn't look like me. I kind of messed up this eye, but that doesn't matter. I was just trying a thing. And I think what I was trying was painting and drawing on top. And it was probably from a photo. And then this is right down the street from this place. And I can't remember if I did it in my car or if I did it from a photo, but it's this beautiful blue Victorian house. And I think this would be a beautiful, larger painting. The blue was fun too. practice and feel good about the shadows of the blue shadows on the blue building. This one I like. I'm not sure why, but I do. So windflowers are also called September flowers. Oh, anemones. I grow them, and they only seem to bloom kind of every third year or so because we have such a harsh weather scene here. So, yeah. And then also, so is this more than you want to know about me? I'd like to be an abstract artist, but I don't want to force it, and I don't want to pretend. I want to figure out how to get to there from here. And one of the ways that I see myself going there is abstraction of details, so that I know at the time what I'm painting or drawing, but on the final piece, it is abstract, and you might not know what this is, but it just ends up being a texture or marks on the picture. So, so one of my goals, sort of for the next 25 years, is to find the abstract artist in me. Sorry, I keep bumping the table. And to figure out how I can do abstract in a way that is truly Arlie and not someone else's version of abstraction. I can't remember if I did this one on location. This is a waterway near Bellingham, Washington. My mom was in the hospital, and I had flown in, and I called to see if she was ready for me to visit her, and they said, don't come yet. So I left my hotel and I went to this little area here, and I didn't realize it, but behind me there was a sign that I had neglected to read that said, watch out for snakes. And I was sitting on top of all these rocks, so wow, am I lucky. But the water had receded, so it was all tide pools and stuff, and people walking their dogs. And this was the day, and so this is Canada, not Bellingham. I was in Canada. The Queen had just died that night, and so this was early morning, and the sound was carrying, and everyone was walking their dogs here and here, and everybody stopped to talk about the Queen. And they almost all said the same thing, like, she had a long life, but, let's see, oh, it's so sad, but she had such a good life. She really lasted, like, they all had, it's almost like they would just have the same 4 or 5 comments to each other, polite chit-chat. So that was kind of funny and interesting. Not sure why I didn't draw there. This is from a real life, I believe. So I grow poppies in my yard. I have a lot of flowers. I think this was meant to be a future painting. You know, this is another exercise that one could do, I could do, you could do, where you just paint blobs and let it dry, and then you look for shapes the same way that you look for shapes in the clouds. You know, for example, this, I can kind of see that this could be an animal, and that would be its nose, and that would be its ear, but it's wearing a hat. And then this could be maybe its babies. So, sure, a lot of blank pages. I should have gone back through this and filled it in. This is in White Rock, Canada. I did do this on location. I'm really happy with it. Why? I don't know. This one turned out like I wished. I'm going to go closer. Warning, if you work with smudgy materials, you've lost the opposing page. This was in the mountains above Vail, Colorado. This one is upside down. And it is also, this is at Point Roberts, there used to be a pier, I guess, and so these are the wood things. I don't know the names for things, you know, it's where the pier was, or there was some business here. I have no idea. I already forgot everything everyone told me. What you can't see in the picture is that there were about 12 bald eagles hanging around here and flying around, and I should have painted those, but see how the paper got all bumpy, and it's just frustrating. Oops, wrong way, this way. This is a tree that's at the what's it called? Chupungu? I can't remember the name of it. The sculpture park near the mall at Centera in Loveland. And it's this, every time I go, I end up at the same bench painting the same tree, and it's been interesting watching this tree evolve over time. And so I didn't put the date on it, but obviously it's summer. Oh, here it is again. Probably from a photo. I was just there again recently, except this time I sat here and painted this way, across the water. This is from a photo that I took at Denver Botanic Gardens. See if I can remember. Wow, I'm really spacey today. Oh, Chatfield Farms. So I guess it used to be a farm, and now it's owned by the Denver Botanic Gardens, and now it's a farm that is owned by the Denver Botanic Gardens. But I always end up on this little back road taking pictures again and again and again. There's something about the curve of the road and the houses over here. This is, if you go in, this is the road that kind of runs past that red barn. And I just keep going, let's see if I can get my compass direction. I keep going south on that little road, and I just take so many pictures here, but I really like this one. I think this would translate well to a larger painting. And this is a picture from Japan. And this is one that I have done over and over and over because it has a look that I keep trying to catch. And I forget who it was. I think it's James Gurney, the illustrator and painter or artist. He says that most people paint their skies too dark. And I realized, oh, that's me. I paint my skies too dark. So these are both gouache. This is from a photo I took in Australia, actually. Went to Australia in October of 2024, and I guess either this was right when I got home or it was still while we were there. But there was this couple, they had their phone out and they were trying to figure something out, and I was like, I love the way they're dressed. And this is a vase that was given to me when I graduated college in the 80s, given to me by my stepdad. And then another self-portrait. And then I got on this kick of thinking about fan art, but whatever the opposite of fan art is, to do portraits of people who are ugly inside. So I had just listened to a story about Jerry Brudos, the lust killer, and it'd be better if you look it up, because I listen to so much true crime stuff. If I tried to describe it, I would probably get confused between him and someone else. Currently, I'm listening to a thing about the Green River Killer. Anyway, just the idea of doing a portrait or a sketch of somebody who's a horrible person, but, you know, it's just a picture of a guy. So I just think that's interesting. And then here I have this cool plate. It's a melamine plate with printing on it. I thought I'd just do that. So I have a whole bunch of these. I did a series of these in December of 24, so that would be just a couple months ago. Here's Lori Vallow, who's also, she's demented. She has left behind her dead family. And she's serving multiple life sentences, and she's in the news lately. But I've been following her case since I first heard about it, when her children disappeared a few years ago. And that's why she's doing life sentences. But I couldn't capture the look, but she had this look of almost sort of hungover. So I'd like to try to do this again. She was a very beautiful woman, and it's really interesting watching her come out in her prison garb and trying to curl her hair and do all the things to do her makeup in prison. So that's been interesting. And then this, I think I used some new markers. I bought some acrylic markers in Japan, and no, in Australia, and I've been kind of obsessed. Self-portrait with just the paints that I had out for something else. And in the picture, it was a black shirt here and a dark blue shirt with white stars, and my hair is kind of brown, and then this is black, and I was having a really hard time getting the colors right, and I decided that if I fussed with it, it would feel tight, and then it wasn't fun anymore. And then this is the same, oh yeah, this is that tree that I painted a couple times over here is actually here, or maybe that's it. So we sat here and painted, my son and I, and then walked across the bridge, and I took photos through the bridge of the water, and these are supposed to be reeds. So it's so hard. It's hard because you're like, do I try to draw the reeds? Will anyone know? What if you don't know? What will you think this is? Do you think this is sand? But it's not sand. Have I misrepresented the reeds? Like, it's this stupid inner voice, the doubt. And then this is looking the other way. So this was looking, I don't know, I think it was standing on the bridge, took one picture one way and one picture the other way. So this is the one. This is where that weird tree is, and this is where we sat. So this is the other way. Does it matter? So I tried to do the reeds. This is another picture that I took, and this is sand and this is dirt. And so my inner critic is like, you can't do that. You have to make dirt look like dirt, and you have to make sand look like sand. And then this was a different color of dirt, and blah, blah, blah. That's a stupid inner voice. This is from a photo. Oh, I can see it smudging. This is from a photo that I took in Australia. The palm trees were planted in a circle. The palm trees were planted in a circle at this park. And so against the white sky, because it had just rained or it was about to rain, the sky was white, and I thought that looked pretty cool. I have to remember to put something between these two pages. This is from the Chinese Garden of Friendship in Sydney, and I have to, this didn't turn out the way I wanted. I really wanted to try to catch the water, and then you get to a point where the paper just won't take any more material, and then it just starts looking really smudgy. And then this page was actually a pen test page. So I just did a tree from this same garden on top in the wrong colors to incorporate some of the pen markings that were already on the page. So that's the sketchbook, and I hope you enjoyed it with me. And if you do try this book, you might have better success than I, but I'd recommend that you go up a size. Seriously, this is my favorite book, favorite product, just not this size. So thanks for watching, and let me know what you think about anything, or if you have any questions or ideas. Bye.